If you've ever taken a product photo that looks dark like this, and you wonder how in the world will I ever make this look good? Well, there is a way to take a photo like this and turn it into this. And that is called shooting in RAW format, which is something that I teach my students all the time inside my academy. So I'm gonna teach this to you as well if you're just starting out in product photography and you have no idea what this is. So I have set up for this picnic-like product photo that I wanna take indoors and make it look like it was taken outside with the sunlight, basically. So I am using a continuous light. And if you know, using a continuous light, for beginners, I do recommend, just because it's easier to learn lighting, where the shadows go, how much light you need. You can play around with your setup freely with you knowing where the light falls. With strobe lights, you can't do that. You really have to understand how camera settings work. And you won't be able to see where the light is falling with a strobe light. So if you're just starting out and you're a beginner, I recommend a continuous light like the Godox SL60 or the Godox SL150, like this one. So anyway, I took this photo and I got something, not so bright. So when I took this photo, I wanted as much in focus as possible. So I went higher on my aperture, as one would do, to capture more in focus, but you can see that it looked a little dark, and it actually looks a little bit lighter on the screen, but it's pretty dark. However, I'm gonna take this photo, and now I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Now, keep in mind that I did retake this photo without the nachos and all the fun things that I did earlier this week. I just thought I wanted to show you this. And so this is gonna be a bit of a rough draft or a rough version, but this is the image right here. So I'm gonna show you, when I go to Lightroom, I'm gonna show you the exact same way that I edited this image, because I use basically the same setup. I just so happen not to have all of these things. I did this one as well, by the way. So earlier this week, I had the whole shebang. I had the chips, the salsa, and that's how I created this image. But again, I'm just gonna give you a rough draft and show you the importance of shooting in RAW format. And if you don't know how to turn your camera to RAW format, you can actually ask ChatGPT how to turn my Canon Rebel T7 or my Sony 6600 or 6600. Just ask ChatGPT how to turn on the RAW format on your camera, because every camera is going to be different. And also, most cameras have RAW format, by the way. Even the beginner camera, like the Canon Rebel T7, also has RAW format. But look at this image right here, okay? It looks like a hot mess, like you couldn't even turn this into something nice. But check this out, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do, I am in Lightroom, by the way. I'm gonna go to crop. I'm gonna crop the image. Now I'm gonna crop it to 4:5. That's usually what I crop my images to. I wanna get a little bit of the book. And then I do like to go to geometry and I click on auto. Sometimes it'll straighten my photos. Sometimes, like it did right now, it didn't. So I'm going to just rotate that image a little bit to try to align the product, like the can, to the lines, just to kind of make it a little bit straighter. I think actually that's what it was doing, but anyway. Okay, so shooting in RAW format, you can, under the light box right here, you can expose the image a lot more freely than you would if you're shooting in JPEG. So shooting in RAW format allows you to be a lot more flexible with adjusting your exposure, your shadows, etc. So you can see here, I'm gonna lift my shadows. Because again, this is supposed to be a bright sunny day outside, right? I'm gonna bring my highlights down. And then from here, I'm gonna, under the color mixer, again, you can just adjust the color so much better if you're shooting in RAW format. What I did here is I went to the color box, pick the color white balance selector, and I selected the whitest area I can find, and that usually will fix your white balance. Press enter, And then I'm gonna go to the color mixer here and click on the red. And I'm going to bring the luminance down just to make those colors a little bit more, what's the word? Just not so overexposed, the red colors. And then I'm going to increase texture a little bit just to bring some of those details out. This is only Lightroom, by the way. And this is before raw image shot with one continuous light, shot with a bit of a higher aperture. And because of the high aperture, the higher the aperture, the more you get in focus, and that's what I wanted, but the less light came in, right? So usually if you're just starting out, you look at your image and you're like, oh no, this is dark. So you just kind of like throw it away and not even try to edit it. But if you shoot in your raw format, you can make something like this happen. But now, hey, do you want to take it to the next level? Okay, so so we are here, and I'm gonna go to File, Edit in Photoshop. So I'm bringing it to Photoshop to add the sky. By the way, if you want to see the full creative process of me shooting a product photo, from styling the scene to the angles that I use to a simple settings recipe to always make sure your photos are sharp, to editing your photo, make sure to look for that link in the description box. It's a free class that I created for you, and it goes really more in depth on creating a product photo from scratch, especially if you are a beginner, you're just starting out in product photography. The link will be down below. But check this out. Okay, cool. Now I want to add a sky, make it look cute. So I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Sky Replacement. And if you don't know this cool little feature in Photoshop, it adds a little sky to your image. When I first found this out, I was like, heck yeah, this looks so cute. So you have to wait a little bit, and there you go, okay? When the sky is added, just go here and toggle to the right, adjust that brightness to match your image, okay? So then you make it brighter. You can also like move it around, but that looks pretty good right there. Then click on OK. And now from here, that's all I'm gonna really do here. But remember, this image is supposed to have chips and salsa and things like that, right? Or whatever kind of picnic photo you're creating. And if you do recreate this photo, let me know and tag me at Kraus Media. But I'm gonna save this image, and I like to save it as JPEG. So usually I like to go back to Lightroom and I do a few last minute edits or a few final touches. And that would be expose the image a little bit more, lift the shadows a little bit more, bring those highlights down, and voila. So now you can see, this is crazy. I'm gonna take you to the reset edit. This is what we started with. What? And this is what we ended up with. So this is the before image, and this is the after image. And you got everything that you need in focus in this photo. So I hope you found this video helpful. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.